All right, if you've ever worked with an anaerobic digester, you know there's a beast lurking inside that can cause absolute chaos. Well, today, we're going to learn how to tame that beast. We're diving deep into a practical guide for one of the biggest headaches for any operator, digester foaming.
So let me ask you a question. What's silently building up pressure in your system, clogging up your equipment, and just draining your budget? Well, the answer might just be that foam that's bubbling up inside your digester as we speak. And look, don't think for a second this is some rare, once-in-a-lifetime problem. No, digester foaming is a super common operational nightmare. And its impact? It's massive, both on your bottom line and probably on your stress levels. It's a problem that really demands our full attention.
Okay, so let's get right into it and define what this crisis is all about. Understanding what's actually happening when it foams and why the stakes are so incredibly high, that's step one to getting this thing under control.
You know, the best way to think about your digester is like a giant, sensitive stomach. It's filled with all this crucial bacteria doing a really important job. So foaming, that's basically a bad case of indigestion. It's a huge, visible sign that your whole system is stressed out and that your good bacteria, those all-important methanogens, are really struggling.
And the price you pay for that indigestion is steep. Foam isn't just a little mess, it's a total menace. It gets into everything, clogging gas lines, jamming up safety valves, causing real equipment damage. It fills up the headspace, which means you lose valuable gas production. Then you have to take everything offline for cleaning, which is just operational chaos. And worst case scenario, it can cause sludge overspills, terrible odors, and could land you in hot water with permit violations.
So if the foam is the symptom, what's the actual disease? To really fix this for good, we've got to put on our detective hats and unmask the culprits causing all this trouble.
And when you dig into it, the investigation really points to two main suspects. On one hand, you've got your biological culprits. These are issues with the sludge itself, usually involving some kind of bad bacteria. And on the other hand, you've got operational errors, basically mistakes in how we're feeding and running the whole system. Let's break them both down.
So, public enemy number one, the main villain in the story, is a microbe called Filamentous bacteria. These little guys are hydrophobic, which is just a fancy way of saying they hate water. So as gas bubbles rise up through the sludge, these bacteria grab on for dear life. They act like tiny little life rafts, stabilizing the bubble and preventing it from popping. The result? A thick, stubborn, persistent foam that just won't go away.
And that brings us to a really important number you need to remember: 40%. When your waste-activated sludge, or WAS, makes up more than 40% of your total digester feed, you are basically rolling out the red carpet for those foam-causing filamentous bacteria. That is the magic number, the critical threshold you do not want to cross.
Okay, so that's the biological side. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin, our operational errors. I just call this the overloading problem. It's pretty much the equivalent of force-feeding your digester until it gets sick. And here are the specific mistakes that can trigger a foam apocalypse. Pushing the organic loading rate too high, anything over about 2.4 kilograms of VSS per cubic meter, is asking for trouble. Making really fast changes, like jacking up that load by more than 10% in a single day, will absolutely shock the system. And of course, any sudden swing in temperature or pH, well, that just stresses out your good bacteria and gives the foam a perfect opening to take over.
Okay, let's shift gears. The worst has happened. You've got a foaming event going on right now. The beast is loose. It's time to stop diagnosing and start acting. This is your emergency action plan.
Listen up, there are 3 things you need to do immediately. Number 1, and this is the most important, stop the feed. Just turn it off. You have to cut off the food supply that's fueling this mess. Step 2, stabilize the environment. Get your temperature and your pH back into the safe zone. And step 3, only after things have calmed down, you can restart the feed, but you have to do it slowly.
And when we say stabilize, we mean it. This requires precision. You need to keep temperature changes to less than 1 degree Fahrenheit a day. Your pH needs to be locked into that sweet spot, somewhere between 6.8 and 7.2. And if your pH is crashed, you got to add alkalinity, things like lime or sodium bicarbonate, to bring it back up. These aren't just suggestions. They are critical care instructions for your digester.
Look, emergency response is crucial, but nobody wants to live in crisis mode. The real goal here is to win the long game. So let's talk about how we move from just putting out fires to preventing them from ever starting.
It really comes down to a whole different mindset. You see, short-term fixes like dosing antifoam chemicals or using surface sprayers, they just treat the symptom, the foam itself. Sure, that'll buy you some time. But permanent solutions, like source control and smart load management, they treat the root cause of the instability. And well, that's what gives you real, long-term peace of mind. So here it is. This is your permanent prevention toolkit. First up, and I really can't say this enough, source control. Managing your waste-activated sludge to keep those filamentous bacteria from getting into the digester in the first place is without a doubt the single best strategy, period. If you've got a second digester, you can recycle healthy sludge to reseed a struggling one. And finally, just embrace consistency. A steady, predictable, manageable feed rate is the foundation of a happy, healthy, foam-free digester.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to take back to your own facility. After all this, ask yourself, is your digester a stable, high-performing system? Or is it a ticking time bomb, just waiting for that next overload, that next biological upset to unleash the beast all over again? The choice and the control is in your hands.